We're tickling the veteran. Are we live? Are we going? Oh, wait. You got
Yeah,
it? You
yeah,
got one tonight
yeah.
too? You got one? Let's do
I
it.
got
One,
one.
two. Oh, that was money!
That was a good one, bro.
How money was that, brother? Cheers. You're drinking that Kona. I'm drinking Sprite. I love it.
Kona.
And I'm drinking the last of my limited edition Vanilla Frost Sprite. I love it. It tastes like... So, if you like vanilla Coke, guys, you'll love Vanilla Sprite. I tell you what. It's like you take that Coke flavor away, and you just throw Sprite... Oh, man, it's wonderful. And it makes a perfect cream soda with rum. I'll tell you that. So,
To try that.
it's money. So, guys, welcome back in to another wonderful and exciting edition of Operation Magic with me, the one and only James Kemp, and Josh Dunn. We are here tonight after a long time of just trying times. We've been pumping out episodes, but man, Josh and our lives have been upside down, turned around, inside out, not knowing what to do. And we're still putting out episodes for every single one of you. And yeah, a lot of big life changes happening. How's your life been, Josh?
It's been good, man. It's been good. In
Good.
and out of the VA doing my thing, but you know,
Hey.
family's back to being healthy. I still have like a crumb in my beard
No, yeah, from food. Yeah, happens.
for later.
Yeah, hey,
Let's
you
get
gotta save something for a little bit. You're looking at, hey, you
let's
gotta
get
pull it out,
this.
man.
This is what happens when you are a
A
grown
Stromboli?
man.
We know, yeah.
Yeah.
Grown man with Stromboli beard. We know this.
Maybe that's just the way the oh anyway. No, but it's been
Maybe
good.
it's your gray popping out. Who knows? Uh, no, so, well, I'm glad that you got the VAs taking care of you as best they can because it's the VA, as we all know. And, life here is good. I know this is a weird announcement to make on the show, but I'm a grandpa. Weird.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, my 18-year-old daughter had a little boy.
Old man James.
Yep. So I'm now a grandpa at 41 years old. That's wild. I made a joke to Josh earlier in our text messages. I won't say it here, but my family likes to do certain things, nocturnal
Yeah.
activities that are fun. So that's what's happening in my life. Josh's life has been dealing with the VA, and we're here at another exciting episode for this. And tonight's episode, Josh, I think it's gonna be a good one. I really do, because
Yeah,
you and I are
yeah, we're
are
we're we're gonna go at it.
yeah, you and I are very different, and it's funny because this plays into one of the reels I posted on Instagram a couple nights ago. Um,
Stone Cold
about
Steve Austin.
the Stone Cold Steve Austin one. If you all saw that reel, you know what I'm talking about. About me and my Disneyland ass always fighting WDW people on why Disneyland is better. And this is another one of those episodes where James is going to fight out of a paper bag yet again. Um, we're going to be popping the bubble tonight, guys, because stark differences in both WDW, as we all know, and Disneyland. So with that said, the stark difference this time that we're going to be talking about is the bubble in general, where WDW, you're stuck in the bubble. You have to drive 15 miles out of that biatch to get to where you need to be, or whatever it is. I don't know the distance. It's probably a 15-minute drive, whatever the hell you got to do. As where Disneyland, on the other hand, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump right there to Catella, Harbor, or Ball Road, where all the hotels and extracurricular things could be along the way. And we're going to diagnose this as to which one seems better. Oh, hey, he's pulling it up right there. That's me whacking heads. I'm whacking those heads with a steel chair because that's what I'm here to do. And this is the one thing is I've never been to WDW, so this is going to be learning for me. It's going to be learning for Josh because he's never been to Disneyland, and we're going to learn a little bit as we fight each other over this topic. So, Josh, when you stay at WDW, I'm going to pose the question this way. What are some of the things that you like to do with your family that are extracurricular outside of the park, or just yourself?
Um, well, my wife and I before our daughter, she's a toddler, so it's a little bit harder now.
Right.
But when it was just us two, we would love to go mini golfing.
Mm-hmm.
So we would go uh a couple mini golf courses. Um, I forget the name of them, but I think one's like Fantasia Garden,
Okay,
something
yep.
like that. Um, and we there's like a winter wonderland too. Like we went during Christmas. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
Um,
So those are some fun things you can do, right? But it's still in the Disney bubble. And
yeah, that's one of the things we
yeah,
would like
okay.
to do. Yeah, yeah.
What are some of the others like that are there within that bubble? Because I know you got Disney Springs. I know you got all this extra stuff because you're there. You have to be.
Well, I mean, Springs is the main draw
Right.
where you can do quite a bit. There's a lot of stuff you can do at Disney Springs. Uh,
So
but we're there. I mean, we'll get more into this later,
yeah.
but we're there
So my
for a specific reason.
my question is, I know why you're there, and it's one of my favorite reasons why you go there. Um, but my question is do they have convenience stores or fast food in the bubble at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
McDonald's
Okay.
for sure. I know McDonald's, and there's a gas station
Oh
right
well,
next to it.
that makes sense to have a gas station in the bubble to some degree.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. You've got convenience stores.
So when it comes down to Anaheim, and anybody who's been to Disneyland, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're surrounded by Catella, Harbor, and Ball roads. Each of them has hotels, food, whatever it is. And we all know Disneyland is way smaller, as we know. You can pretty much fit Disneyland in probably Epcot at this point. You know,
I mean, you can
um,
fit Disneyland inside of Magic Kingdom's parking lot.
yeah, exactly. So you could do that, right? But you only have limited amount of what you can do in the bubble. Like the Disneyland is the original. There wasn't a whole lot of forethought there because of the idea. Well, the I don't know if you've ever heard the story as to why Disneyland isn't bigger. Have you ever heard that story?
Not that I can remember.
Okay, so the reason why Disneyland is the size that it is, before we get going, is there was a bulldozer driver who's taking out the trees. This was all orange groves at one point. Now, as they were going through, they wanted to keep a lot of these trees in the park. They wanted to keep as many as they could, but they tied uh, tags around them that were certain colors. Well,
Yeah.
lo and behold, that driver was colorblind,
Huh.
and he saw them as all the colors, as the same color, and took them out. So that started the build of Disneyland, right? So then Walt didn't have the foresight because he didn't have this idea that this was going to be this huge draw, this huge park. So the orange groves were bulldozed. They start building it, and there's signs going up, Disneyland coming soon, and people started inquiring about the land around Disneyland to create we call Hotel Row and uh, the the uh, the oh what's what I'm looking for, the tourist idea of Anaheim, the whole
Yeah.
touristy idea. And so they jumped on where Walt couldn't. And this is why they're two different parks, they're two different sizes. With that said, though, they got smart and they saw what people were doing. They realized that not everybody could stay at the brand new Disneyland Hotel, which wasn't very big. It was like 2-story, like motel hotel style. And they started building hotels up around. What did that bring? More tourism, more stuff. And that's what drove me into this idea tonight was they're two different bubbles, two different ideas. And for me, I think the Disneyland bubble feels more realistic and freeing than I would in the Disney World bubble. And my reasoning on that is because of everything that you can do. Yes, there's a lot you can do inside the big WDW bubble. I don't discredit that 100%. But there's more freedom of choice without having to pay the Disney price. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and for argument's sake, I think I will just leave out how easy it is to leave that bubble and argue just being in there
Well,
the whole time. I mean, just outside of that, man, there's a lot of stuff.
I'm not saying that, and that's my point. Is like it takes what 15 minutes to leave the bubble though. That 15 minutes
It
driving.
depends. It depends on where you're staying. I would say you're more deluxe resorts. Like if you go to Animal Kingdom Lodge,
Okay,
you're back there. I mean,
so
you're gonna
it's
be
20 minutes at least, 20 minutes, half hour.
you're gonna it's not gonna be a half hour, but it's gonna be 15 to 20 minutes to get out of there. But not all of them. If you're staying at like any of the all-star resorts, I mean, you're you're out of there in a few minutes.
Well, yeah. So on average, you would say 15 minutes, just on average with all the
Yeah.
resorts combined. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that 15 minutes of driving to go to all this other luxury, because I know they have the biggest McDonald's out in Orlando, they have all this other cool shit you could be
Sure.
doing. But for argument's sake, on my end, we're within walking distance of all of those things. We don't have the biggest McDonald's, but we have. It's a 10-minute walk as opposed to a 15-minute drive. Do you see? And that drive takes place from that ambience of the bubble. So it's like you're driving out of the bubble, and you have to leave. You have to leave the bubble when the whole idea of the bubble in WDW was so you would never have to leave.
Yeah, and I will say, almost every time I go, I park my car and I don't touch it until it's time for me to leave.
So you're one of
So,
those true tried and true bubble people that will not leave if you unless you have to.
I mean, yeah, like we used to leave to go to Walmart, but now with technology, we
Yep.
order it ourselves,
Yep.
bring it in. I mean, the transportation system is a game changer to me as far as when you're staying in the bubble. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go anywhere you want with not having to touch your car.
And that's amazing. And that is the one thing I do like about the Disneyland bubble as well, because you don't have to. You can stay in the bubble and not touch your car, and walk around and do all that, and then you can leave the bubble without even touching your car, and
You want to?
walk.
Yep.
You can walk down to, you know, it's the Anaheim Garden Walk. You can walk down to right across the street. So right outside main gate, right where RTTC kind of is, where the bus drop off is. You go out there and you walk across the street, and there's Hotel Row, and you have Desert Inn and Suites. You have a place called the Castle Inn and Suites, which is an awesome hotel. Like it's built like a castle, dude. It's freaking rad. But you got McDonald's, IHOP, Denny's, Tommy Bahama, all these Tony Romo's, not Tony Ramos. I can't remember the name of it, but all these different restaurants. You got little wine bars, and think about this. You and I like to drink a little bit from time to time, right?
Yeah.
So think about this. You're staying off property. You don't have the luxury of being in the bubble that time, right?
Okay. Fine.
And you can walk down, say at 7 a.m. to a little pizza joint that's open. Instead of walking into the bubble, getting your coffee, you can grab a slice of pie, grab yourself a buzzball at the liquor store, slam that fucking buzzball, hit that pizza, and you go to the park feeling good. As where you'd almost, I feel, have to, if you wanted to do anything of that nature, if you're that wild and crazy type of guy or gal, you would have to almost literally leave the bubble to almost do that, or go someplace within the bubble that is open that early. And
Or
that's
you
the
have
one
to
thing.
just plan and
Yeah.
have it yourself. We've always stopped at the liquor store before we got there,
Yeah.
and again to avoid to buying a little fifth of Captain at the gift shop.
Oh God.
We'll stop on the way, even here in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And load the cooler up with whatever we need, and if we're feeling froggy at 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll jump.
Oh yeah. Yep. No.
Not anymore, but
But
there was a time.
but yeah, but you know what I'm saying. So that's the tough thing. That's the argument that I saw out of this whole thing, because for me, I've told the story on the show before. My dad and I used to walk down to the little ABC Corner Market. There's a liquor store right there. It's still there actually in Anaheim. After we leave the park, because we never stayed in the bubble as a kid, and so I had a lot of time outside the bubble, and that's how I fight for the outside bubble or inside the bubble, because I've done them both, and I love them both very much for different reasons. But that time that I was able to walk from my hotel down to the corner market with my dad and buy, say, a 6-pack of beer at the end of the night, you couldn't do that at the time anywhere inside the bubble at Disneyland or even at Disney World, I don't think, in the 90s and early 2000s. Because
Yeah,
alcohol wasn't
can't
a big,
speak on that.
yeah, there wasn't a huge push within the Disney company to serve alcohol within the parks.
Well, I know that
And
every gift shop in Disney World has alcohol in the hotels.
that's
I mean,
amazing.
you can go get beer, you can get liquor.
Well, in the hotels, yes.
Yeah,
But
the
not
gift
in the
shops.
parks.
So,
But
I mean, even if you're wanting to, get something, they already have that. You don't need to leave kind of mentality where they have what you need wherever you're staying at.
now, here's the other thing with saying the bubble versus not being in the bubble. Disneyland offers you the luxury, because yes, Disney World has 97 bajillion hotels. We know this. And some of them range from maybe $250 a night to, $1,000 a night, depending on where you stay.
Yeah, but more and less. So around 200 I
Yeah,
think is the average for your all-star resorts right now,
right.
which is still
It's decent.
pretty good when you're
That's
considering everything you get.
exactly
Um, but you can go up to
thousands of dollars.
thousands of dollars for that.
I know that one of the most expensive suites at Disneyland is $25,000 a night.
Yeah, you can find that too.
Yeah, and you know why? If I had that money, I don't think I'd be spending it on a suite like that. I had more of that money, I might. However, the idea is being able to go and have that affordability outside. See, if you wanted to stay outside of the Disney World bubble and save yourself some money, you have that drive in every single morning. As where at Disneyland, you can literally walk from your hotel. You can catch a tram depending on what part. I think my wife and I 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point, we stayed at a La Quinta, right around the corner off of Clementine and Catella. There's the cross street is Clementine, and Catella is the through street that runs through to the Honda Center and the Big A at Angel Stadium. And we stayed there, and that was a solid 5 to 10 minute walk into the park. Nowhere in the Disney World outside bubble could you do that without getting an Uber or doing that. And you along that way, you get a lot of good scenery. And I get staying in the bubble. Yeah, you can stay at Fort Wilderness. You can stay at some of the all-star resorts that you might have to walk and you can't catch transportation, but it's not the same because you're getting so the city of Anaheim.
You could get transportation on any of those.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can catch transportation, but if you want to walk, that the luxury of that is, you're still within the bubble. Now, I'm going to tell you a story as to why I think that staying outside the bubble at Disneyland is actually, or doing stuff outside the bubble in Disneyland is great. Because our good friend Lou, friend of the show, Two Marines Through Disney, he and I went on a guys trip about, 3.5 years ago. And we stayed in this little, is that Anaheim, was it the Anaheim Desert Inn, or Anaheim Discovery Inn, this little rundown old school motel hotel style thing, 2 stories, rooms like it felt like I was going into the Bates Motel for a second.
And by the
And
hour or for the night?
for the night, it was a total our trip for both of us to go. I think each of us, it was $1,500 total. That's tickets, hotel, everything. This hotel was on the backside of California Adventure. We walked out of our room and you could see the Incredicoaster and parts of Cars Land. At night, we'd walk through the hotels, do our penetrating, go back to the hotel, and then we would go peruse the Anaheim scene. And Anaheim has got some quite interesting characters. And the night that we decided we were going to go down to the little CVS market and get some booze after we had our DoorDash Denny's, because we were being lazy bums. We had been in the park all day, and my feet, I didn't want to walk anymore. So I just DoorDashed. Although it was like a mile up the road, I didn't give a shit. But we went down to this little CVS, and where else, outside of Disney, can you see a bum next to Disney pissing in the sidewalk between a row of palm trees?
You're making my point for me.
No, I'm not making your point. This is the greatest part of it because this is the life that you wouldn't see inside the bubble all the time. And anybody who knows me, I'm a very enigmatic type of character. I love these types of things because I use them as writing things. I use them as tools to write stories as a writer and director. And for me, it's great to tell stories because it's like, if you are trapped inside the bubble all the time, you're going to see a guy like you sent me a video of a while back who...
That's universal.
Oh, yeah. But staying within... that could happen in the Disney bubble. You know what I mean?
Good, yeah.
And then you can't... You have to walk through the park that way. And okay, but you'll see it in the bubble just for that split second. But you leave the bubble and you see every walk of life. To me... being stuck, I love the Disney bubble. I love being within it. I love the Disney adults and the people within it. But doesn't it get a little mundane at times? Doesn't it get a little boring being around those people all the time? I love my Disney family. I love my Disney adults. But it can't, going to sit at Trader Sam's, for example, and have a drink right there by Tangaroa Terrace outside the Disneyland Hotel in the pool. And we're sitting in Trader Sam's and you can yuck it up with people and have a good time. But you leave say the bubble at Disneyland, and you go to the Westin or the Hilton, where they have really nice bars inside of it, and you're going to have a conversation without a Disney adult, with a Disney adult, without realizing they're a Disney adult because they left the bubble for the day. They're just a normal person. And I think that I love Disney. We both do. But I think there's something about staying in the bubble that cultivates this facade that we always have to be on. You always have to be on. You can't be just Josh from South Carolina or James from Washington to a degree, because
Well,
you still are, but to some level you're that Disney adult all of the time while you're in the bubble to some
well,
level.
a lot to unpack here. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
start with, don't forget we had a giant brawl that was on the news in Magic
that
Kingdom.
that is
So
true.
that
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 does
got us
happen.
a little street cred there.
A little
Um
street cred, nothing too
um
big, just a little fight.
but I think that you get all of that at Disney Springs. These aren't Disney adults at Disney Springs. These are anybody and everybody coming to Disney Springs. You don't
Right.
need to be staying there. Most people aren't staying there. There's a lot of people there who are at the bars because they're just great bars
Mm-hmm.
that are near the Kissimmee and Orlando area. I've seen a lot of interesting shit prowling Disney Springs. Um, I think that we have a unique view of Disney adults, but I think the vast majority are just regular people who are
Mm-hmm.
going to just be there for a vacation and not any, they don't really think anything more than that. So even with like the bubble argument, it's only people like us that would even like argue this stuff because most people don't even realize they're even in a bubble.
No,
They're
that's true.
they're just going and they're like, okay, our hotel's 2 miles away, and they go there and they don't even realize the experience that they're getting to really have, you know,
All right,
and go ahead.
not to cut you off. For the sake of argument, just playing devil's advocate with what your point is. What percentage would you say, if you're putting a number on it, are not Disney adults at Disney Springs?
If I had to put a number on it, man, I would say that if you're going there at the time frame I go late. I'm going 2 hours before bar close. So I'm going 10 to 12, 11 to 1, something like that. You have a lot of college age kids. That's,
Okay, how many of them do you think are locals?
oh, I would say the majority of them are locals, I would think.
Okay, so you proved my point on the back end of your argument. Continue. Get to it in a second.
Well, I'd imagine when you're walking around Anaheim, a lot of them are people that live there and that are enjoying, the
They
area
are,
like anybody else.
and Disney Springs is one of those things that you don't have to pay to park. You get validated parking XYZ whatever, right?
Yeah, and or you Uber there, and
Right.
it's your cost of your Uber, and that's it.
Yeah, and that same with Disney. So my point is like the idea of, well, they go to Disney Springs. That's what Disney Springs is for. Well, we have downtown Disney. That's what downtown Disney is for as well. You don't have to be in the bubble. It's a lot of locals, and that's why I asked the local question, because it's like that's their after
Yeah.
work experience. That's their
Well,
after work
I
hours
only
going to drink.
I only said that because you made it seem like we don't get those kinds of experiences in the bubble.
Okay,
That's the
no,
only
it's
reason
perfect.
why I brought that up because we do get a little bit of normal and kind of out there characters.
Mm-hmm,
But my general argument for the bubble is I think it's an amazing concept.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, I I especially one who I don't like the fighting traffic, fighting crowds, fighting, to find parking. All
Okay.
that shit stresses me out because while my wife is taking care of our daughter, I'm taking care of all that stuff.
Right.
I drive the whole trip, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's being able to get a complete reset and not have to worry about anything but having fun
Right.
is like I guess I have no desire to. I mean, if I had this argument 15 years ago, it might be different. But now that I'm in my mid 30s,
Mm-hmm.
having a place where it's like I'm not fighting Orlando traffic or
Right.
dealing with the general populace of a major city kind of sounds pretty good to me.
It sounds really appealing, actually, right? And I'm not Anaheim doesn't have that because you don't you'll fight the regular traffic, obviously crossing the street, but every hotel has a parking garage or a parking, and you can catch depending on where your hotel is, you can catch transportation of any sort. Um, you can it's within walking distance. The one thing I see you brought up a good point. Yes, you have the fights that happens. I think at every theme park at this point.
Yeah, but they're just fun to like
Yeah,
watch.
they are. You do have the interesting characters because every park at Disneyland and Disney World, you'll always have an interesting character walking through the bubble of some sort. My argument is you don't get the normal average, like, I'm not a Disney person and I'm just want to piss on the middle of the street because I can mentality attitude.
No,
Yeah, it's kind
you
of
don't.
gross.
No, you don't. You don't do
It's a
that.
gross analogy, but you don't. There's a saying out here in Portland: keep Portland weird. You don't get the Anaheim weird that you would get, and that you get the Disney weird in the Disney bubble, but you don't get the Anaheim weird or the Orlando weird. You get
Well,
this
if you want
segregated
the
or watered down
Orlando,
weird.
if you want the Orlando weird dude, go during senior week. You
Oh,
know,
I.
there you go, man. Go during that. There's a reason why I don't choose that is because you might see a 18-year-old kid pissing in a bush outside of All
No.
Star movies, or some crazy shit like that.
I caught kids fucking on Splash Mountain, so nothing
Yeah,
surprises me.
that's the
Nothing surprises me.
and
You
and
know.
that's to my point. Like in the bubble, you can get as where you decide to stay
Yeah,
really shapes your vacation.
it truly
Like
does.
we like Saratoga Springs,
Mm-hmm.
which is a short walk to Disney Springs, and that makes it like that's where we're at in our life. We like going to Disney Springs. We like going
Mm-hmm.
to bars. Like getting nice dinners. You know, if we wanted a more secluded stay, we'd go Animal Kingdom Lodge, which we've been to many times,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's a peaceful experience. If we wanted to get a little bit more crazy and deal with what
Mm-hmm.
what
Yeah,
you're
what I've
talking
dealt.
about,
Yeah.
we'd go to the value resorts
Yep.
where that is your younger crowd,
Yep.
your a little bit more rambunctious group.
Yep.
A lot of teens running around doing some wild shit. So it can be right now. My thing is I'm trying to succumb to the Disney bubble. Let
Okay.
it take me in and give me a complete reset to where I
Okay.
just gotta focus on getting to the park and having fun. And I
Yeah.
enjoy that.
See, for me, and I don't disagree with that because being in the Disney bubble, I love being within the Disney bubble itself. Because Disneyland's bubble is small, and I don't mind a big bubble, but I don't mind a small bubble either. But that small bubble allows for a lot of different freedom. But at the point in my life, I like getting to the resort, kind of kicking my feet up for a little bit by the pool, having a drink, and then going and doing the next day stuff because it's like I want to unwind. Now, when I was a young, dumb, uh, and stupid Marine, I uh, I would go up to Anaheim all the time as an hour and a half from the parks, and I'd stay in those resorts, and I would party like a rock star without tearing out the walls, you know, and it was great, and it's still awesome to be able to do that sometimes, But staying in the bubble, I think our resort that would be our value resort, where all the young people go to stay, would be Pixar Pier. It's a beautiful hotel. It's freshly renovated, but that's a younger crowd. The more adult crowd is Disneyland Hotel. That's the more retro reserved crowd, and then you get the higher end. More, I'm going to do what I want, spend the money I want, suit and tie if I want, collared shirt, whatever, to dinner. That'd be the Grand Californian, and you get all walks of life in one space. And that's one thing outside of the bubble. You have resorts kind of like that, but you don't see the weird technically
Uh,
at the end of the night. You know?
yeah, and I like the way Disney World's immersion level differs based off of where you decide to go.
Yep. Yeah.
Because now I will admit the only thing that would make me even remotely dislike the bubble is if it was Disney in my face 24/7.
Yes.
And it's not that. I mean, it really isn't. You can get as much Disney in your face as you want, or you can kind of forget that you're even staying
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
on Disney property. So that I think once you come to Disney World
Mm-hmm.
and you get to really kind of
Mm-hmm.
bounce back and forth between different resorts, see kind of how everything's laid out.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a big appreciation in that.
Oh, I don't
And
doubt
look, I
it.
think it goes both ways.
It
I'm
does.
not saying that I wouldn't like to go to Disneyland, get in the little tiny bubble, and then be able to venture out a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, but where I'm at now, if I'm just talking me, my wife, and my daughter,
Oh yeah.
I would, if I went to Disneyland with those two, I would not probably venture out at
No.
all.
No. No. And well, so and this is one thing. So for me, as a kid who grew up between the non bubble and the bubble as I got older, I appreciate being outside the bubble for the simple fact that I got to experience being a kid outside the Disney bubble. Like, we stayed a story of my last trip with my family before I left to boot camp. I was like 16, almost 17, I want to say. And my best friend one of my best friends at the time, my buddy Audric, I used to, the last two trips we went, I took him with me, right? And we were chasing girls from Australia. He found a girl from up here in Washington. And we ended up like him and the girl from Washington were fooling around in an elevator, and I was sitting there pushing buttons, and we were jumping up and down every time we stopped. And we broke the elevator. So
Oh,
we stupid shit that we would do, like, and in the bubble you can't really do that. You know what I mean? In the bubble,
that's
you
probably a good thing.
yeah, in the bubble, if you did that, you would be fucked, straight up fucked. And um,
And
with
that's probably why the Disney bubble is so great, is because it really it takes a lot of that out. And I think the WDW bubble has families in mind
yeah,
more than anything else. So it's safer. It's, you know, a complete safe place where you can truly not feel that you're encountering any of the kind of crazy
so
stuff that you encounter elsewhere.
this is what I will tell you about the Anaheim bubble. There, and I'll have to pull up a map, and we'll have to pull up the map of Anaheim, and I'll have to explain how this works for y'all, because around Disneyland there's Catella, there's Ball, there's Harbor, and I can't remember the back. Is that I want? I don't. That's not. Oh God, is that Buena Vista or Buenaventura Street? I can't remember the exact street that goes. So you have this. It's like a square. This the square idea, and you take these roads, and you get outside that square, the Disney like bubble square of the roads. That's a whole different world. That's a whole different Anaheim. That's a whole different Orange. That's a whole different part of that area. You get outside of that, I worry more. And I'll tell you why. And this is not to deter anybody. This is why I do my laundry on property or at the hotel I'm staying at, and I don't go to laundromats. My wife and my daughter decided they wanted to go and do laundry at a laundromat outside of the bubble. And they were profiled by people who were traffickers.
Oh,
And
damn.
my wife called me, let me know. I was kind of irritated because I told them not to. I shouldn't have been so much of a dick about it at the time. It's like 2 a.m. They're outside the bubble. They were doing something that I said, don't do, please, because it's not safe. My mom even said, don't do it. It's not safe. And they put themselves in an unsafe situation because they went a mile and a half, 2 miles outside the bubble. Within reason at night, with you, if you have someone with you that knows that situation, know how to handle it, yeah, that's fine. But at night, at midnight, 1 a.m., it's safe to walk by the hotels and the hotel row and all of that and within that square. But you get outside that square at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., you're putting your own life at risk. And that is the dichotomy of that area, because you are in Anaheim, Los Angeles area, Huntington Beach area, Long Beach. Like, Long Beach is like 2.5 miles from Disneyland. So if you want to make a trip down to the LBC and see our good friend Snoop, go do that. But I mean, Compton is 30 minutes from Disneyland. I mean, I mean, all these different things that, like, you get all these different walks of life. So staying within that square, like, Disneyland has its own weird little bubble within those four roads that encompass the Disney bubble within itself. Once you get outside of that, and then that's when I'd start to worry, because you're like, if with it's my kids and all that, I wouldn't really want to venture out, and I could see that. But being off the bubble and doing it when I was a kid, I know those roads. Yeah, they've gotten a little bit more scary over time, But the idea is you can still venture without worry to some degree and still get some of that weirdness. But the WDW bubble, you're just closed. You're encompassed, and some of that, like you said, you go down to Disney Springs and you won't run into those rowdy, rambunctious college kids. And catch me on a wrong night, I might throw a punch. I don't want that. I want to be able to have my bubble and my drink without being uh, harassed within the bubble. If I'm outside the bubble, I expect it.
Yeah, but I think that you go to Disney Springs at 5 p.m. on a Friday, and you're 100% fine.
Oh yeah,
Now,
of course.
you go there like me, once your family goes to bed, you're obviously your risk is gonna be
Oh yeah,
increased just a little bit. But I
it's
don't know,
increased.
man.
You know why it's increased? All the pissed off dads who didn't get to drink in the park all day, they're finally getting to unwind, and then one dad says one thing to the other one, and then next thing you know, ballroom brawl breaks out in Raglan Road.
Yeah, and I think I just love the bubble more for like
Yeah,
mental space for me,
no, 100%.
because I want to make as least amount of decisions as possible.
Yeah,
And really, dude, out of everything, to me, it just boils down to transportation. Something about parking my car and leaving it for a week, and
right,
just being able to go anywhere inside that bubble and be drove around, not to pay for it. Well, I've already
right,
paid for it with my
right,
stay, but still,
right.
um, it's like if I want to go to another resort and use their pool,
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. If I want to, go to the campfires down at Wilderness Lodge, I can do that. If I want to go to Wilderness Lodge and make some s'mores with my daughter, it's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, more than I know that is
Now,
possible inside that bubble of those
question for you:
resorts.
since you're a DVC member, do you get to just pool hop because you're a DVC member, or is that anybody who stays in WDW?
I don't even think pool hopping is really um pool hopping. I have to I think you can pool hop.
Because I know at Disneyland that is not a thing unless the pool of one of those resorts is down.
So
And
you can. Okay, so this is the reason that I said yes. If you're staying at a deluxe resort, and
oh,
that's
okay,
that's pretty much all we stay at,
okay,
because we're DVC members. So all of our points go to mainly deluxe
deluxe, yeah,
resorts.
okay,
So you can do that, but you can't stay at like a All Star, I don't think,
yeah. You
and
can't say an
park
all star
hop
and go
to
go park hop to
Grand
say,
Floridian.
oh yeah, contemporary
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. So
that was
um,
my question.
yeah. So you can't like cross.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's no crossing the streams. Wrong franchise of stuff, but don't cross the streams. Could be catastrophe. Yikes! But no, so that's like because I know in the Disneyland bubble you can't pool hop necessarily, like I said, unless I think you're staying at the Grand California and you can go to everybody's pools. But otherwise, you can't really pool hop. I remember saying, "Oh, maybe we should go try the Grand Californian's pool because we're sitting at Disneyland Hotel." And like, "Oh yeah, you can't do that." I'm like, "Oh well, there's that. That's shitty." That's shitty. But no, I understand what you're saying about wanting to be on the bubble, park your car. Now, I may have misrepresented how the Disneyland bubble works. You have transportation to everywhere you go. To what, like if you have a hotel, for example.
there's
What?
8 to 10 pools at Disneyland compared to 70 plus
Yeah,
at
exactly,
Disney.
exactly. Um, although my favorite pool at Disneyland, not that I digress real quick, is the monorail pool at the Disneyland Hotel. The monorail slides are the coolest slides that you could probably ride. I mean, I get it. You guys have water parks. Awesome. But for just a sheer get down to have a good time hotel pool, that one's solid. That's a solid pool. Um, and so for me, it's like you can take transportation anywhere because I think Disney they want you to be able to get to the parks without having to walk if you don't want. They want you to have transportation, but it's like you're not limited to like the Disney prices. So for if you have to get a little ECV, little go cart, go gadget cart to get you around the parks because you can't
Dude,
eat.
I don't even think. I think I don't know this for sure. I'm just spitballing here, but I think Disney World has to have the transportation system because I don't even know if they could facilitate that much parking.
Oh no, no, they
You know
couldn't.
what I mean?
No,
Like I think they count on people taking the bus because it's easier
it is.
than to load up your car and pay $40 to get into the park. So,
Yeah, that's
but
wild to
if
me.
everybody decided to just drive, I think it'd be a nightmare.
I remember when I was a cast member, parking was $15.
You had to pay to park as a cast member.
No, I didn't have to pay to park, but I
Oh, I
remember.
was like,
But
damn, that sucks.
no, I didn't have to pay to park as a cast member. But that'd be a lot of money a week. That'd be like my
Yeah,
paycheck a week, dude.
yeah, that's crazy.
But it's like no, like when you would go at as a guest without your when I got there it was $15 and then it bumped up to I think 20. And I pulled up and I didn't have my ID. Luckily my lead was at Mansion and they just called Mansion to say does this person work here? Um but yeah, because I had to go in to get a new ID. I lost my ID. So I had to park and go get a new ID. So it was like I went in and I parked. Like, oh, it's $20. I go, it's just 15 2 days ago. Oh yeah, we just rose it. I'm like, what? And now it's like $40 again. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, you're going. Next thing you know, it's gonna be $100 to park a day, $400 to get in the park a day, and then you're spending. It's
Yeah,
crazy to pay for parking, and I don't think they would have enough parking for everybody if they had to pay to park. Like you said, I don't think so.
yeah, and I don't know. Back to the debate between the two. I don't know, man. I think that having the bubble, I don't know. I think it's just such a needed thing because it feels like an all-inclusive kind of thing. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like I don't know if
No,
I want to go
100%.
visit a place like it's so unique that you I mean not I don't know if anywhere else that you can just go and get carted around like this and have your entire vacation happen without touching your car.
Well, that's all about ready to change in the next few years at Disneyland. I tell you that. It's all about
Well,
ready to change.
are you excited for that?
Um,
Because if you
yes,
are, that
yes
would
and
be
no.
huge.
Yes and no because of the fact that you know we've talked about this on other shows and we've talked about this on other stuff that we've been a part of. Um, that I don't mind the Disneyland Forward idea and expanding our bubble. I don't. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be a unique experience. A lot of the stuff Disney owned at one point and sold off to pay off other things, and
Right.
now they're buying it back, which blows my mind. Um, I mean, there are certain things there that really are mind-boggling to a degree. But I think that the craziest thing of all is I've been talking about that third park, that third gate we're supposed to be getting. We're supposedly getting our Epcot finally.
I
So
mean, like that's the thing about giant business corporation like Disney. As the general populace
yeah,
gets a little bit less money in their pocket, they somehow get more and can
more.
buy up
Yep.
all this stuff. They remain unaffected by
Well,
I mean, I think post COVID they were making more than any
no,
other year.
yeah, no,
But
the day they opened their gates up, that what was that March they opened the gates or whatever it
yeah,
was.
in World it was like you had mask,
Yeah,
requirements, but
yeah,
like they were open because it's
yeah,
Florida, right?
yeah,
So they were
yeah,
already like a pretty red state already. So they were just like, hey, we'll wait a couple months. Once we get the
yeah.
green light, wear a mask, and we're back for business. And it was packed.
We were closed, I think, for 9 months. I think something like that. But in that 9 months, it like when we came back full, the reservations, the mask, we had all the requirements, and it was different that first time going back, flying on a plane, having to wear a mask to some degree. Like they said, if you feel comfortable, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to. Just distancing ideas. When I went the first time, and I had a mask with me because I had them with me just in case they were upholding the mask requirement. Making you do it. And the idea was, oh, my cat, here he comes. He comes up through my under the house into my garage. There's a hole that he's created, and he's in my Tavis. What the hell are you doing? My cat, he's wild. Uh, anyway, so it was one of those things, and it was nice to have it open up. And they've been making money hand over fist, but in that time, Anaheim kind of died. The Garden Walk, some of those hotels, some of the stuff they've been wanting to buy back up for years. They had originally owned, and they cut a deal saying, "Oh, you won't, you're not going to develop this into anything special. You're not going to do anything." And then what did they end up doing? They ended up turning it into something more, and they went behind Disney's back and did what they weren't going to do. So they were. It's exactly what Walt Disney did Disney got Disneyed at the end of the day in Anaheim, and now Garden Walk was thriving for years. It's died, and it's up for sale. And guess who bought it back? Disney.
Nice.
So that's going to end up being our Disney Springs idea. So the whole thought process of this whole third gate and Disney Forward is going to expand our bubble. Do I think it's going to affect how you travel outside the bubble? No.
Well, the space is so small anyway that you'll never be able to get what we have just because of where you're at. I mean, you'll never have a park that big.
Well, here's the thing. So the lot they're looking at using for our Epcot will be the size of actual Epcot. There's enough room there. Yeah, there's enough room there to create a size of the actual Epcot.
Huh.
Yeah. Epcot isn't as big as you think, actually. It's big.
Well, it's big, but it's I mean, it's laid out,
Yeah.
perfect.
If you go look at, so there's a map, and if you type in Garden Walk, Anaheim Garden Walk, and there's a parking lot directly across from there. It's called the Catella lot. It's the old cast member parking lot. It's now the Toy Story and Friends parking lot. It's an overflow parking lot for people at hotels. And that was where I used to park my car to catch the tram to get into the parks. And that's like, there's a space, there's that, and there's some old strawberry fields off to that area. There's a hotel there or whatever. Disney is buying up that space. That hotel is going to be bought by Disney, from my understanding. And that whole lot is the size and can be the size of Epcot. It's wild.
Huh. I wonder if they'll use it all for that
though. That's the idea for the third gate, is for that probably, because right across the street you have the Garden Walk on the other side of Catella, which could be Disney Springs easily.
Right.
So it's just like it all ties together. It's all starting to kind of piece together, and I do think it's going to affect the outside of the bubble, but not as much as, say, staying in the WDW bubble, to where you feel free because you're in the Disney bubble, but you don't feel free because you're kind of secluded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the only downside is, to your point, I will admit one downside is once you get to your hotel at night, it is problematic if you have the urge to go somewhere that's, I guess, unique, that's not in, like, if you're getting the craving for a Wingstop or something, or you want, you have to order it. You can't really go. I mean, you can load up in your car and go, but that would be the only pain.
Here's the biggest caveat to being off bubble and having the bubble the way it is at Disneyland. Right across the street, kind of about, I don't know, I want to say half a block, quarter of a block down the road, is the Anaheim Convention Center from the hotel that Lou and I stayed at. And it's on the backside of DCA. So the Anaheim Convention Center is where D23 happens every 2 years. So being able to go off the bubble to do D23 and then bring them across, you've got a whole thing, and then you've got a Marriott and a Hilton there. So it's like this whole unique experience. So if you don't want to go to Disney that day, but you have tickets to D23, you don't have to go inside the bubble at all and still get your Disney fix. There's shops, every hotel in the area, they have their knockoff Disney things. They have their knockoff pens. They have whatever it is. In the Disney bubble, you don't have to worry about knockoff stuff and all that. But you're right. Like, if you wanted a Wingstop, or you wanted a I don't know what you guys, a Whataburger, if you have that out there.
Well, I mean, even if you wanted a slice of pizza.
A slice of pizza, yeah.
Said, I mean, if you're craving that, you're gonna have to figure it out.
You are, and
you
it sucks.
Order it. You have to order that to your room. So that's the. And
then you end up paying that Disney price, and where there's a Domino's probably right down the road in Anaheim.
Everything else outweighs it.
I can see that, and for me, I can agree to disagree on that argument. I can see it, and it can outweigh it to some level, but it goes until you experience it. It's either side. It's until you experience it. you will never know what one of us is truly talking about. And either of us won't on either side, because I've never been to Florida, you've never been to California, and it's one of those things that when you experience it, you're like, oh, now I see what they're
Now,
saying.
to that point, I think this is a great way to close this argument out.
Yeah.
Is I think you will be more like we're both Disney fans, so I think you coming to Walt Disney World would be a more positive going from your bubble to mine and from mine to yours. I think you would benefit more. I think you would probably be the one to like, because I'm not 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that where you're at now in your life, you would get to Walt Disney World and be like blown away
Oh
at
yeah.
how everything kind of. I think I'd be more blown away with how the park is, and
Yeah.
not necessarily
The
everything
bubble.
outside of it.
Well, and the thing with inside Disneyland and inside that bubble, it's like it's small enough to where Disney's in your face almost everywhere you turn. You know,
And that's fine. Yeah.
and, and that's why I do like getting outside the bubble, because I don't, because you go to the Disneyland hotel, you're going to get Disney everything, there. Grand Californian. It's a little, it's not as Disney, but it's Disney there. You got Pixar, so everything's all Disney in your face, and that's the one thing I can credit WEW with. They did not make everything so Disney forward in your face at all the resorts. It's very subtle in some cases in some resorts, and it's very forward in some resorts.
Yeah, I mean, I go to Saratoga Springs, and besides little accents in your room here and there,
Yeah,
it's a regular, wonderful resort. You
as
know, now if you go to Pop Century and get a Little Mermaid theme room,
mhm,
you have Disney in
mhm.
your face from the moment you wake up
see
till you go to bed.
see Saratoga Springs sounds a lot like the Grand. The Grand, it's a lot of subtleties. It's not like so Disney forward. It's that rustic California, you know, uh, craftsman style hotel. It's really cool. It's a really neat hotel, and it's very forward and like that accents. They have little nods to like Acorns is the name of like the gift shop. Acorns is so it's a nod to Chippendale. Your rooms have Chippendale and with like orange, like pictures of oranges and stuff. It's like very subtle, but you get to Disneyland Hotel, your room, your headboard lights up at the end. Like you push a button, your headboard lights up with the fireworks going across, and it sings, "Wish upon a star to ya." It's pretty freaking rad.
Yeah,
However,
it's in the name though.
yeah, exactly.
Disneyland Hotel.
But the Pixar Pier Hotel, which is new, it used to be the what? It just changed names. It used to be I just want to slip my mind, but it wasn't a very good hotel for me to not remember. It used to be something else. I don't remember, but it was very like it was semi themed to the California surf
Paradise Pier.
1950s Paradise Pier. Thank you. So the Paradise Pier, but it had some Disney theming. It was Mickey and surfboards and Goofy and surfboard. All this kind of little weird stuff. And now it's more forward themed to Pixar and more there. Like you can meet what's his name from Inside Out, the guy in that what's her name, Joy finds down in the dark places.
Oh,
Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Bing Bong. Bing Bong.
Bing
How can I
Bong.
forget Bing
Yeah.
Bong's name? Yeah,
Take
so
me
it's like
to the
you could.
moon
That's
for
one
me.
place you can meet Bing Bong. Yeah. So it's like for
Saddest scene
me,
ever.
it is. But for me, it's like I can understand that and coming there. And I think for you, I think if it was just you coming to the park, you would get enjoyment from the park itself, but also that being able to kind of experience going what I'm saying, because and seeing what I'm saying and being able to maybe walk one of those roads I was talking about, like walking to the West End and having a drink or something like that, kind of like going to your Raglan Road, because they actually walk by the West End. You walk by, they have glass windows. Like you walk by some of those hotels, you have the glass windows for the restaurant or whatever, and they have
Right.
this huge. It's I swear to God, it looks like one of the most upscale bars you'd ever go to, but it's like the most laid back setting.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super rad, and I haven't been in there, but yeah, you walk by and you're like, wow, what do I got to go? And they have a steakhouse in there. You're like, wow, this is kind of actually up class and nice. It's like something you'd almost find at a Disney Springs idea. You know what I mean?
Okay. Nice.
So there's little nuances with outside the bubble that you would probably find within WDW's bubble, but it's not as prevalent because it's not in the bubble. It's not in your foresight. It's not in the front of your mind because you're so focused on what Disney has to offer in that moment. So I can see your argument of like, I'd probably be happier at the park and what's happening there because I never experienced it than I would outside because of where we are in our lives, like you said. That plays a huge factor into some of our decision making as well. These arguments aren't for the faint of heart. This one was actually a pretty tamed argument compared to what I thought it would be.
Well, I mean, it's just because of lack of experience too. I
Yeah,
mean, I can guarantee you, anybody who watches this that is a WDW fan, which is the majority of people out there, because it's just the more popular park, the better park, are going to agree that the bubble is just amazing.
of course it's
Um,
better because it's your park. As for me, Disneyland will always be better because it's Uncle Walt's park. Uh, it's his home. It's where it all began. But the
yeah,
the, the story that the story that
very
stopped
true.
the story that stopped the bubble from happening has to play a huge part in that. And that's why I always preface telling people about the Disneyland bubble because if it wasn't for the foresight, because nobody ever done a theme park like that before.
No, yeah,
Walter Knott, Walter Knott of Knott's Berry Farm, they had a small theme park. He was the first real theme park person in California, but they started with a berry stand on the side of the road with a couple of attractions. Walt Disney did it from the onset and mind frame of, I want to create entertainment for families to come to daily. And when he did that, and he shot himself in the foot by putting a sign up saying, new theme park coming soon in this area. And it was, Anaheim was just a bunch of fields and farms that blew up overnight as a boomtown. And Walt didn't have a chance because he didn't have the money. Everything that he wanted to do in Anaheim got accomplished in WDW due to financial success.
yeah, and
And
I don't know if you're a UFC fan or follow UFC,
yep, I do
but
a little bit.
the greatest fighter of all time is known as John Jones.
Yep,
Okay,
John Bones
he's
Jones.
pound for pound the best fighter of all time.
I'll always
John
be a Chucky
Jones,
guy, but
John
but
Jones would not be here without your Chuck Liddells, Tito
yep,
Ortiz's, Frank
yep.
Mir's, those
Frank
old school
Mir,
guys that helped get UFC on the map.
Ken Shamrock,
And that's
all those
exactly
guys.
what Disneyland
Yep,
did. Now, all those
yep,
guys, if they fought, John Jones would get destroyed. And that's the
yeah.
whole idea, though, is some people have to cut the trail so that we can, you know,
Mm-hmm.
move on to bigger and better things. And I'm just
And
happy that even though Disney World is doing so great and is so huge and is like a dream come true, in a sense for Walt, I am happy that Disneyland has maintained and is still going like strong and getting updated and changing and acquiring more space. I think that that's huge just for everybody, you know.
it is because what it does is it allows growth of the bubble and it gives Disney World more ideas coming out of California than Florida going to California ideas, and I think it's great. And John, I love the John Bones analogy. I've always been a Chuck Liddell guy. I actually met Chuck Liddell in a bar by a chance on accident
Oh,
in
that's
San
cool.
Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, we entered the same time, and I pointed at him, he pointed at
Fucking
me. Yeah, yeah. And so Chuck pointed at me, I pointed at him, and he goes, "You don't say a word, your drinks are covered all night." Ah, is that what one is that? Is that one or two? Oh man, he's got that Tito and Chuck Liddell poster.
and it's
Ah,
UFC
that's amazing.
66. It's
So
dude,
was that Chuck one, Chuck and Tito 1, 2, or 3 poster? What
I
one?
believe 66
I,
was
I think that's
was
one.
one.
That's
I
one.
think it
Yeah,
was one
yeah,
because yeah, I think
yeah.
66 was one, and it's
Yep. That's
I've
funny
had
because
that
everybody's like, "Oh,
forever.
the Huntington Beach bad boy was not as bad as he when he fought old Chuck." I mean I will Chuck Liddell is one of the coolest guys. Like I said, I don't know if you heard me talking, but
Well, yeah,
yeah, he's one of the nicest guys in the world. And finally, some asshole blew it at the bar and called him out. And but I didn't say anything. I got my drinks paid for all night, but everybody else that was getting their drinks paid for didn't because I went to my booth with my friends and I sat there and I drank and they're like, "Why aren't you paying for your drinks?" I just kept. You want another one? Yep. All right, Mr. Liddell's got you. I only drank like $100 in beer. It wasn't a big deal.
$2 beers.
Yeah, like pounding, and it was in an Irish pub, so I was really fucking wrecked. Um,
Oh, I bet.
but it's one of those things that like those analogies fit great because I I would say John Bones is definitely I would say he's probably the greatest fighter of this era, this generation. And that's saying a lot because we've had the Conor McGregor's of the world. We've had the
I mean, he's better than everybody thus far.
yeah, yep.
I
And
mean,
but pound for pound, I'll still take Jones any day of the week. The
yeah,
same thing what used to be with Frank Mir. Frank Mir was the smallest guy in UFC, and I take him. Frank Mir does what he wants. He used to. He'd beat up the biggest guy in the room,
are you
and
talking
that's
about Shamrock?
oh Shamrock too. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Shamrock.
Frank Mir's a heavyweight.
Yeah, but Frank Mir was one of the smaller heavyweights. Is what I was getting at
Yeah,
compared to some of the guys he fought. You know,
yeah,
look at
Brock
some of the
Lesnar.
guys he fought. But the idea is I like the idea of like making these comparisons because without some of these fighters, you can't have these arguments, right? And that's the same with the Disneyland argument. I look at Frank Mir as like a Walt Disney type of person because Walt did kind of what he wanted. Frank Mir kind of did what he wanted with his size, his stature, against some of these bigger opponents that he faced, and that's kind of like what Walt did. He faced banks, he faced bankruptcy, he faced everything to blaze a trail forward to create something bigger and better for the future. And is it a shade of what he wanted? Yeah, it may not be exactly what he wanted, and that's why they've always said that Walt Disney World was Roy's park, not Walt's park, because Walt never got to see it to completion, and Roy only implemented some, not all, of Walt's ideas because it was financial, and Roy was always the financial mind. So, with that said, I think we're at a good closing point, and I think that was a weird but fun trail off to the UFC to end this conversation in fighting. Uh, you want to talk about our sponsors real fast before we get out of here, Josh?
Yeah, for sure, man. First we're gonna start off with big shout out to my wonderful, beautiful wife. It would have been funny if I went to Signs of Amusement just then. Um, the beautiful guys of our
The
Signs of
beautiful
Amusement.
guys at Science of Amusement. No, let's talk about your wife before we get to those guys.
If you guys are looking to book any trips coming up, get with my wife, Magic Done Right, over on Instagram. She will hook you up, help you
Mm-hmm.
out, answer any questions you have. She's a fantastic travel agent, and I like working with her. So if you have any questions with that, just hit her up. Also, all our guys over at Signs of Amusement, just
Yeah,
some awesome guys. James has been on their show here recently, so
I've
um,
I've been a
they're
part.
a
I've
great
been
group.
more a part of their shows more than I would have liked to in some cases. Um, and I love being a part of the shows. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love Jason and the crew, but I didn't expect to be hopping on as much as I did. And I've built a rapport with some of those people. And if you ever get a chance on YouTube to catch them live, they like last week I wasn't live on Monday with them. I wasn't there, but I was watching it, and I watched Jason over there put together our good friend Ingrid's sign for her business, Capitalitas Creations, and just
Nice.
piecing it together. Oh, it was and watching him work and do what he does, man. I tell you what, those guys are solid. Check them out. Who do we got next?
We got our good friend Lou over at Two Marines Two Disney. I need to hit him
Yes.
up to get some stuff, but Disney Antiquities, if you're
Yep.
looking for it, he can help you find it for
Heck yeah,
sure.
he has me an opening day golden horseshoe like menu and stuff that he's trying to
Sick.
get figured out for me. He wants to do it right for me. So again, antiquities. That guy. This is a guy who has a purveyor of Walt Disney autographs and like, you know, Mark Mark Davis and Alice Davis autographs. Just stupid stuff that he's found for good prices. So yeah, like he said, hit him up over at two at gmail.com. Last but not least, I know we've got one more. Who do we got there,
Yeah,
Josh?
our guy over at Skullface, Matthew O'Brien, right?
Yeah, Matt O'Brien.
And then you can find his stuff over at operationmagic.printful.me.
Yeah.
Check it out. We showed it on the last show at the end. Check out his designs.
Mm-hmm.
Some cool stuff.
I did just put out a couple new shirts of his
Nice.
designs.
Okay.
I did Sam the Eagle.
Yeah.
I did a Winnie the Pooh.
Nice.
We got Pooh out there, and then we had I added one more. Swedish Chef. Swedish Chef is out there now. The sweet. I mean.
And that I guess that's it.
Yeah, I mean
Unless you want to
tonight.
hop on and sponsor the show, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. Yeah, no, and guys, thank you so much for being a part of tonight. I know tonight wasn't like fireworks, like we're punching each other, but it didn't need to be that way. No, what it needed to be was a thought out discussion, because the fact of the matter is, we both don't know each other's parks. And the idea is we can only advocate for what we know. So there's that.
And what we know is that Disney World's better. All right, guys. Well,
he's going to fight. He's going. You know what? He is going to beat that dead horse till it's dead even more.
And don't forget, Disney World is 1,000% better. And I don't know what happened to James, but yeah, Bubble wins. Oh. All right, guys. Good night.
Oh God.
All right. See you, dude.
See you guys. All right, squad. Listen up. You already know who we are. We are the Operation Magic Podcast. Disney loving, dad run, veteran built. Every week, we're here bringing you that magic straight to the veins. And now we've got something even bigger. It's official, guys. The Operation Magic merch. Those t-shirts, those hoodies, the mugs, stickers, you name it. All Disney inspired, all made for the Operation Magic squad. This isn't just gear. This is the uniform. You throw this on, you're not just a fan. You're a part of the family. Every piece supports this show, keeps the mission alive, and helps us keep bringing laughs, the stories, and the magic every single week. So what are you waiting for? Hit operationmagic.printful.me right now. Grab your gear and show the world who you are rolling with. Operation Magic. Rep the magic. Rep the squad.